Hi, good morning. Welcome to Excel Homes. My name's Rob Ebbets. I'm Vice President of Marketing for Excel. Excel's been here for, more than 25 years, since 1984. And we've built almost 30,000 homes in that time. I think what you're going to see today is a tour of a great factory. Excel is unique in the whole modular industry that we build nothing but custom homes. We're the largest custom modular manufacturer in the Northeast. And we have 5 sister plants across the country, making us the largest custom manufacturer in the whole country. I think altogether, all of our factories make well over 1,000 homes a year. This factory is putting out well over 300 homes a year, plus a lot of multifamily, student dormitories, commercial buildings, apartments, condos. Excel has been known for years for its flexibility, its customization, its options we offer, and most of all, the quality. And I think the quality comes mainly from the people here that have been here for so long. There are a lot of people with over 20 years experience building these homes. And they are experienced at taking a napkin sketch, turning it into a drawing, and putting that out and turning that into a house. And I think what you'll see today is how that happens. The whole process starts with our design. And I think what we ought to talk about next is the whole design process. And for that we have Stephen Seffel, our Director of Engineering, who can take us through how we take a home from this napkin sketch into a fully finished and developed house that gets put on somebody's land.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Seffel, the Director of Engineering here at Excel Homes, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the modular concept as well as the design process that we go through when we're developing a home for you. The modular process, many people think of a modular as being a simple 2-box ranch, something very low-end, entry-level type housing. That used to be the truth, but today we build very large homes. They could be anything from, maybe 600 or 700 square feet all the way up to 6,000 or 7,000 square feet. We also do commercial product that can be very large, can be 70 or 80 of these boxes that you see here behind me. Some of the limiting factors when we're thinking about the design of a modular home is when we're going to build that, we have to transport it to the site. So we're looking at things like length, width, height. All of those come into play as far as limitations that the Department of Transportation has put on the product for shipping it down the road. So we have to break the design down in a format that allows us to ship the product and then reassemble it once it's on site. Now the home itself, we're limited to about 64 foot in length and about 15 foot 9 in width. And in most cases, we cannot exceed 14 foot 6 in height. This is due to things like bridge overpasses and obstructions that might cause damage to the product as we're shipping it down the road. So we really have to think about those types of things when we're designing the home and when we're breaking it down. We also have to think about how that product is going to be assembled once it's setting on site. It's going to have to be lifted by a crane, set on the foundation, and then locked together in a permanent format. Excel actually builds through a network of builders, and they are a critical component of what we do here. They are actually the front line that our customer sees. They sit down with the customer, help them to develop their floor plans, help them to understand the process and exactly what we're going to do. They're also the key component that brings the builder, the customer, and the subcontractors on site together to get the final product that we need. They act as the general contractor on each of our projects. Now, when they sit down with that customer, they're going to look at a number of things such as floor plans, elevations, finished materials, that type of thing. They're going to help the customer understand exactly what it is that they're getting and help to draw out of them exactly what the product is that they want. They're going to first sit down, develop the basic floor plan and the elevations with the customer, and then they're going to send that to the Excel engineering team, and they're going to take and convert that into a modular product. They're going to make sure that it meets all of the specifications that are required for transportation, everything for production, for construction of the product in the plant, as well as in the field. They're also going to take and sit down with them and pick out things like finished materials and faucets and window types and all of those types of things to help the customer understand exactly what it is that they're getting. The first thing that Excel is going to produce is what we call a PD drawing or a preliminary drawing. That is going to be a basic floor plan and elevation that has all of the doors, the windows, the rooms, the cabinetry, as well as basic elevations and that type of thing that will help the customer better understand exactly what the product is that we're going to be producing. That may go through the process 2 or 3 times between the builder, the customer, and Excel to refine that plan, that design, to get exactly what it is that they're looking for. Once we've established that, we can develop a basic preliminary price, and if the customer's satisfied at that point, we can move forward to a firm price and be able to get that refined down to exactly what it is, the materials that they're looking for, the colors, all of those types of choices can be made. Once that has all been established and the customer is satisfied with the price, we can sign the contracts and we can move on to our production phase. At that point, we're going to take and layer on information to our drawings that are going to tell our production team exactly what it is that they need to build. It's going to give them all of the information as far as sizing of materials, where the carpet and the vinyls are to begin, where the tile is, what type of cabinetry, all of those types of things are going to be developed and put on those drawings so that they know exactly what it is that they need to build. We're going to move on now to our production phase, and we're going to show you that with Dave Reed, our Vice President of Sales.
Thank you, Stephen. Hi, I'm David Reed, and I'm going to be your tour guide today through the XL Homes production facility here in Liverpool, Pennsylvania. To talk about the process, it all begins here with our raw material, where we receive over $600,000 worth of material every week. In lumber, we get a truckload of lumber every day. This material is all kept under roof in our 200,000 square foot state-of-the-art production facility. We warehouse over $1 million worth of material that is used up in less than 2 weeks, so we're rotating our complete material inventory within a 2-week cycle. We need all this material on hand because we're producing at a rate of production of 2 modular homes every day. In our facility, there are more than 200 employees with, as said earlier by Rob Ebbets, most of our employees have been here for almost the life of the company, 27 years. The average tenure of our employees, our skilled craftsmen, have worked here on average more than 15 years. So let me take you through the process, and we'll take a look at how we take this raw material that we receive each day and convert it and prepare it for the production process. The first step in our process is to take the raw material and prepare it, cut it to size. Here is a Clary machine that is a 4-head saw that's automated to cut, in this case, 2x10 floor joists to length. We receive the raw material in a 10-foot dimension, in this case, and we are cutting it to precise size for the floor joist construction. We buy all of our dimensional lumber in this form so that we can cut each of our materials to the exact length for the specific home that we're building. As we've said earlier, we build a lot of custom homes. In fact, basically every home we build is a custom design with the personal needs of each customer drawn into it and designed into the construction process. So what we'll have is basically every home is built specifically to that project's needs and desires. So we're oftentimes cutting our dimensional lumber to different lengths. Now we move inside of our factory where we start our process on the assembly line in the floor department. What we have here is a floor jig. In fact, we have 2 side by side. That's a metal jig fastened to the floor that is already pre-measured, welded and squared into position so that when we construct this floor, we know it's going to be built square and true. So we took those floor joists that were pre-cut off of the Clary machine and we're sticking them within the perimeter bands the outer bands of the floor system here, and we're nailing them and fastening them with a pneumatic nail gun. One of the unique processes that you see the gentleman doing here is that with our construction, having the need to travel across the highways, lifting the units off of the transportation carriers onto the foundation, not only do we mechanically fasten our materials together, but we glue them. It's the gluing process that makes our products so strong and that can handle the transportation rigors of traveling down those highways and lifting the units with the crane and keep them in a square and true condition. This precision building process, using automated tools to ensure that the fasteners are penetrating the correct depths, is what makes our homes so unique. This is the building science that all homes should be built to because of the rigors of the inspection process and the controls in place to measure and check everything in a square and true condition. Here we have an interior partition wall assembly jig where we build all of our interior walls. This jig is again a metal unit that's welded together, built in a square and true condition, so when you build this wall assembly, it's going to fit and be square after our production process is complete in this stage. This is framing lumber that is purchased, cut to size, and our guys are using our production drawings to assemble the wall details based on a wall layout drawing. You'll notice the configuration is upright with the wall construction. This is an ergonomically friendly process. It's easier for the workers to stand upright and work on this wall construction as opposed to working on a table jig where they're bent over, leaning out, and it's not as user-friendly. So we'll walk over to the other side where we've applied the gypsum wallboard to the framed wall construction. And one of the first things you'll notice is that the fasteners that we use are all screws. So the drywall is glued and screwed in this application. And here we have a window cutout where the drywall is already cut around the rough opening of the window. The way we build our wall assemblies is we install the drywall on one side in the jig on top of the framing lumber. And then it's moved to a stationary jig where it's in place and ready to be installed on the production floor on the assembly line. Both the last two processes we watched, both of the processes we just watched, were two stations that were not on the assembly line. They were preparation stations. It's through this process that we can build so rapidly. Every day, we build 7 floors, 7 wall assemblies, 7 ceilings. We basically build 7 boxes, if you will, per day. So now we're actually at the first station on our assembly line where we have the floor started and we've laid our partition walls and we've fastened them to the floor section. And something nice that we do, you built a brand new home, so we protect the brand new home during the construction process with this visqueen plastic, and that plastic keeps the floor decking clean and debris free during the construction process of the assembly line. So now we're taking a look at a process here that was really our nemesis in our construction process and keeps us limited on how much production capability, and that is the finishing of this drywall gypsum. When you spackle over the screws and the fasteners and the seam joints, that all takes time. It's a cure time for the gypsum to be finished. So we begin this process, as you see, in our very first station And as you go through our construction process, you will see at every station we are doing some form of drywall finish, because this process is an ongoing process all the way through the production cycle, and it is a very intense process to finish this gypsum, sand it, paint it, and have it come out in perfectly smooth condition. One of the most unique processes in our construction is the fact that we build indoors, away from the elements of weather. And what that does, as you notice with the wall construction, there is no exterior skin on this building. We actually build from the inside out. And the benefit of building indoors allows us to do so many things in the construction process to make the home built in the most efficient manner possible. We don't have any worries like a site-built home that has to quickly close the outside envelope of the home construction. For us, we're building indoors away from those elements, so we can do things like, for example, here at this plumbing area. Every penetration, as you see, every penetration through the floors and the walls and the ceilings are caulked and sealed around. And what that does is it stops air infiltration. And if you stop the air infiltration, you actually get a more efficient, energy efficient home. So in our construction process, you are getting the most high efficient energy construction possible in America today. And that's because we're building indoors away from those elements of weather with no concern if it rains today or snows or whatever. There are no delays in our construction process. In our construction process, we take many steps to ensure that the home is built to the highest standards possible. One of those steps is here, that you'll see where we fasten our interior wall to the exterior wall. Not only do we nail the partitions together, but we also use lags to fasten them that keeps them square and true until they're delivered on top of the foundation at your job site. We are also a naturally green built process. Our goal is zero waste. And here's an example with this OSB sheathing where we're taking a waste product and we're using it in a good purpose. Basically, this is being used to support a shelf that's on the other side so that no matter where you run your fastener, you're going to hit solid wood. Down here in this other module, you'll notice that the gypsum wallboard is being used to reinforce that drywall seam on the back side. Again, with the inside-out technology, we're able to do these things that you cannot do in site-built applications. We're taking waste material, reinforcing the drywall seam, which makes it stronger and prevents cracks for the life of this home. We use all of our material if possible, and what we can't use, instead of it sending it to a waste dump in a container, we recycle. In fact, all of the lumber materials that we have left over after we're done, and there's nothing more we could do with that material, is ground up and used as either mulch or bedding for animals. We live in central Pennsylvania, and as you know, there's a lot of farmland and a lot of animals, so for us it's a good resource to take this, what would be otherwise waste material, going to a landfill and make good use of it. We similarly do the same with gypsum wallboard because we can't use it all up in this reinforcement application. So we actually take the stuff that we can't use, and that's also ground up, and it's used in soil to help with the fertilization of the soil process. It's an enhancement for soil. So we are very friendly with the local farming community, and it's one way that our industry works closely with the farming industry here in central Pennsylvania. All with the same common goal to provide the most energy efficient, quality built home in America. So we've now moved down the assembly line to the point that the ceiling has been installed on top of our wall assemblies, and immediately we go to work at taping the ceilings and doing the gypsum finish. And here you can see the application of the tape. This is a mesh tape that's used because it adheres to the gypsum wallboard without the use of any mud application like in the old days. It's a product that was developed about 10 years ago, and it really speeds the whole process of construction. It also allows for a weeping effect of the gypsum to seep through the tape and to get in behind it as well as on top of the surface that you see. And there are several layers of finish that are applied to this seam until it's finally painted and ready for delivery to you, the customer. Now that we've moved to the assembly where the ceilings are installed, walls are done, the very next step is to work on the electrical wiring system, which is done through a harness through the ceiling and through the wall assembly as well. Here the wire is penetrating into your receptacle box, and again you'll notice that we're taking the time to seal every penetration for the wire around the box, and we're sealing this up so again there's no air infiltration. That's what makes our homes so energy efficient for the life of your home. In addition to the electrical wiring in this station, we're also doing our drywall finish. We'll walk in here and take a look. And you'll see that we've taped all the joints of all of the corners and the walls and in the ceilings. Here we have our employees using a stilt, basically a walking stilt, so that they can work at the ceiling level just as if they were standing on the floor. They don't use ladders, they're standing and walking on stilts. And this is a process that we take a person that's first learned the skill of installing the gypsum finish, and then we put them on the stilts to walk around, and they get familiar with it, and soon they're doing the ceiling assemblies and finishes as if they were walking on their shoes on the ground. This gentleman is using a bazooka to finish the corners, and this is a second coat on top of the first coat that was already installed by hand. He's using this bazooka to apply his second coat, and this gentleman's coming behind and finishing that out. So he's applying the mud with the bazooka, and then this gentleman is taking the corner trowel and smoothing out the gypsum that's been applied. You can see how uniform it spreads the gypsum and how fast that process really is. So the rough wiring that comes down through the harness from the ceiling comes out of these receptacle boxes and switch boxes, and this gentleman is doing our finish wiring, where he trims the wire first and prepares it for the switch and receptacle application. And you can see that the craftsmanship and the care that he takes to trim the wires to the same length and to a perfect dimension on all applications. Our homes are tested throughout the process just as you would with a site-built application. But because of the speed of the process, we actually have a complete quality assurance team of our own that is here every day and watches every phase of this process. And for every 10 workers, there is one inspection quality control person watching over the work that they do to ensure that it's built to the codes of the home construction, no matter which state it goes to. We conform to the National Electric Code as well as all of the state codes for where each of the homes are destined to go. We're now at a stage, rapidly moving down this assembly line, that all of the mechanical work has been done inside of the wall assemblies. All of the wires have been run to the receptacle boxes. All those boxes have been sealed. All of the chaseways, as you can see with the wire that's coming down here, this is a coiled wire assembly that will cross over and connect to another modular assembly at the job site for final connection. Now that all that work's done inside the wall assembly, now we're going to go ahead and insulate this cavity, and then we're going to put the sheathing on the outside, which is really a reverse process compared to site-built construction, as we said earlier. It allows us to do all those extraordinary things, like using our recyclable waste material to reinforce seams, to caulk around this receptacle box to keep it from having air infiltration, and basically building the most energy efficient home possible. Moving inside the home, you can see that the interior finish is starting to come together and take shape. The walls have been painted, our receptacles have been installed, our light fixtures are being fixed into place on the ceilings, and as well we've started to install our floor coverings in this, which will soon to be a kitchen area. So in addition to in the kitchen where we saw the vinyl floor application, here we are in a bedroom and carpet is being installed. It's wall-to-wall carpet on a nice rebound pad so that this home comes to you with a finished bedroom. With the carpet installed, the walls painted, everything ready to move in. There are only a few mechanical connections that the builder will need to make on site, as well as where the modules come together. He'll seam up those areas to make the final connections for a finished home. So as we protected the floor earlier in the process in the construction phase, here we now have the final material that will be delivered with the home, and it's the final product. So we're cleaning it, and then we're going to protect it with this cardboard that you see here. And that will protect the product from the time that it leaves here, is delivered to the job site, until the point that the builder does this final clean and turns it over for the homeowner to move in. This again is a recycled product of cardboard that we're using to protect the floor covering. So here we are insulating the wall cavities, with the insulation being cut to size, and this is a very, very important part of the process in reaching the Energy Star status. Basically, every home that XL Home builds is built to an Energy Star standard of quality. You'll see the way the insulation is wrapped around that wire to get the most efficiency out of the insulation cavity. We also are using a recycled insulation product that's available to us called EcoBat. The important part of this process is to have a snug fit and to not compress the insulation. You want it to be friction fit in place, not too tight and not too loose, of course, with no gaps. All of our homes are delivered with the electrical panel already pre-assembled here at the factory. And you can see the precision workmanship and the skill that's used to lay out these wires. As you can imagine, the quality of our workforce is greatly improved based on the volume of production that we do. Building 2 homes every day, this gentleman here gets very, very skilled at the talent of wiring a panel box in the most efficient and quality way. As we continue the completion of the exterior finish of our home, the house wrap has been installed, and here we see the windows going in. The windows come completely trimmed out on the exterior with extension jambs. He'll tack that window into place, and then he'll level it and make sure everything is installed level and true. And then he'll finish nailing the entire window application. The house wrap here that you see ties the whole window together to stop air infiltration. And then we're using this sill guard to protect the sill. And you'll see on the other side of the production line how we tape and finish a window. And this is how the whole window comes out complete, with a protected tape around the window to keep it sealed for the lifetime of the home. And then it's trimmed with a J channel so that the exterior siding can be installed. So as our windows are being installed on the outside of the home, inside, we're installing our interior doors and trim. Here we're installing a bifold closet door. So we're moving closer to the final stages of our construction process. Here you see a fireplace that's been installed in this particular home. so that when they deliver, we deliver both wood and gas burning fireplaces. And you'll see that it's already prepared for that plasma TV that's going to be hung on the wall over top the fireplace, and the mantle, I'm sure, to go right below that. These are all things that'll come together in the field on site at your home. Here we have one of our beautiful custom kitchens that we install here at the factory, so it delivers complete to the job site. The countertops are yet to be installed, but all of the overhead and base cabinets are here. This happens to be one of the Marilat branded of cabinets in a beautiful cherry finish. We offer every type of cabinet available by Marilat. We also offer a well-born cabinet, and we allow the design to be totally customized by the homeowner to their desires and their needs with whatever specification they want for countertop materials, hardware, floor coverings. We offer many name brand products that you might be familiar with. In this case, we're using the Anderson products. We're using the Anderson patio door. We allow the customers to make their selections from any brand of product that's available in the market today. Basically, if you can dream it, we can build it. We've now moved to our mezzanine area where we're able to work on top of the modular box unit to do our wiring harness, as you see here. Here's where they thread the wires through the roof trusses to where the ceiling lights will be installed. And they're feeding the wire through the bands of joists, fastening them as required, of course, for the National Electric Code. And then when they're all done with that application, they'll caulk and seal around that light box as they've done similarly with the receptacle boxes, as we seal every penetration in the walls, floors, and ceilings. So this particular design is one of our Cape Cod models of homes. And here you can see the roof raised into its fixed position, which will eventually be its permanent position, so that we can install the floor decking, which will be the proposed second floor for on-site construction. As you see, the ceiling is already insulated and protected. And now the floor decking goes down to create what will be a second floor assembly at the job site. So now that we move from having our roof construction complete with the insulation installed, we move to installing our final shingles on the roof, and then we lower the roof to its shipping position. And that's done so that we can conform to the requirements of federal regulations for transportation limitations for wide loads. Basically, every load that we build must conform to a minimum or a maximum height of 14 feet. And the width in most states is allowable of up to 16 feet wide. And it's the assembly of all these components that make your final home complete. So as we reach a close of our production process, I'd just like to, on behalf of our 800 employees across this country, thank you for joining us here today to learn a little bit more about our construction process, the many benefits of modular construction here at Excel. And we want to thank PCNTours for allowing us to educate and hopefully provide some resources for you so that you know a little bit more about modular construction and the many benefits of our products here at Excel Homes. And so now I'll turn it over to Rob Ebbets for our closing comments.
Thank you for visiting us here at Excel Homes today. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I hope you enjoyed understanding how we take your dreams and turn them from idea into reality. Remember, if you're looking for quality, flexibility, customization, Excel Homes can build you exactly what you're looking for. You can find us at www.excelhomes.com, and thank you for visiting.